Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, theys and thems, all in between, welcome. A very huge but grey welcome to you all. It is the 26th of April, I do believe. 2025. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, that's 9. It is a 9 year. It's my year. I'm 9 in numerology, so don't fuck with me. They say a lot of things, don't they? One of the things they say, well, you never know. I hate that phrase. Sometimes you know, all right? Speak for yourself. Maybe you never know. I usually don't know, but sometimes I know. They say in science, they say nature abhors a vacuum. So does my dog. We do jokes on this show, ladies and gentlemen. I was just walking past a shop, right? For real. Near, just kind of around the corner from where I'm at the moment. And it's a vacuum shop. Now, they're not selling vacuum as in the vacuum of space, of course. They're selling Hoovers. They're selling discount Hoovers. And I had a look inside, not because I need a Hoover or even want a Hoover, but because I thought to myself, they can't only sell Hoovers, right? Like, once you buy a Hoover, you're set for a decade, aren't you? Like, there's only so many people that live around here. Anyone that wants a Hoover has got a Hoover. I thought, what a bad business model to only sell Hoovers. So I went inside thinking, she must also be selling printers and scanners and microwaves and toasters and other stuff, right? Surely. No. Just Hoovers. All Hoovers. And she looked so sad behind the counter. She was just like doom scrolling away on her phone. And I went over. I said to her, I said, you all right, miss? She said, hello. I said, hello. I said, what's business like? I said, is it been busy today? She went, no, busy. I said, is it usually busy? And she had the grace and the honesty to go, she said, no. And I said, hey, so business sucks, eh? Sucks, Hoover. Ah, fuck. Look, forget that one. Look, we do jokes on this show. I didn't say they're going to be all funny. A lot of them are, are like that, unfortunately. It is what it is. So I went to the butcher's and got my weekly supply of carnivorous foods. I got a sirloin, not my weekly supply. I got a sirloin and 2 ribeyes. Lasts me about 2 days, but it's happening. I'm still sticking to the carnivore diet, and so far so good. Feeling better. It's a really good butcher's as well. It's a family butcher's. The meat is great. The lady that works in there happens to be delicious. That I can tell you. I remember the butchers in the city I used to live in was really quite funny. They were Indian fellas. And I walked in there one day. I had these aviator sunglasses on. Right? Aviator sunglasses, just sunglasses, right? And because I had a little bit of a bob kind of haircut at the time, and I'm a white guy, I walked in, just on my own, by the way, and the Indian fella behind the counter, he saw me coming in and he went, hey, the Beatles! The Beatles. Fuck me. Imagine if I'd have walked in and seen him and gone, hey, Aladdin! Right, that'd be racist. I wasn't offended. I just thought it was hilarious, you know what I mean? The Beatles. There's one of me. And whatever. I look nothing like a Beatle. It was the sunglasses and the haircut. And probably the skin. But I do like this new butcher's. Um, I hope never to be barred. Why would you get barred? Why would you get banned from a butcher's? I don't know. But I've been barred from several places in my life, mostly pubs, nightclubs. There's this nightclub in my old city called Hustle. I got banned from there. I tried to sneak in a couple of weeks later, maybe a month later, and about to stop me, he put his hand on my chest. I said, "What? Am I still banned?" He said, "Yep. In this life and the next." So even when I reincarnate as, a saint, I'm still not allowed in Hustle. Oh, well, it's shut down now, so fucking jokes on them. Maybe if you'd have come in and let me buy more booze, you'd still be open, fuckers. I got banned from my high school when I was 14. Not banned, I got suspended. I think just for a couple of weeks. Because me and my mate and another mate called Dean, right? We had this game going. Fucking hell, the shit you do when you're 13, 14, right? We had this block, right? There was the downstairs window and the upstairs window. And obviously the downstairs door. It was towards the end of the school day. The plan was, I was to go upstairs to the top floor. I was going to drop my school bag out of the top floor window. Dean was going to run down, kick the door open, and grab my school bag. And apparently people were going to clap or something. I don't know what we were after. But that was the plan. Right? Great minds. And so I'm stood at the window, waiting for the door to open so I can drop my bag to Dean. Anyway, the door starts to open. I see this girl across the yard doing this, saying, no, don't do it. So I assumed it's just going to be some kid, just some fucking asshole walking out. So it'll be funny, because I'll drop it and it'll hit the guy, right? So it'll be funny. So I dropped it. Half a second later, I saw this big, bald head step out the door carrying these history books. It was only the fucking headmaster. Too late. I've already dropped my bag. Boosh! Straight on top of his big, shiny head. He starts to go woozy. I'm thinking, oh, fuck. Because inside my bag are all my school books with my name on it. And that front door is my only way out the building. So there's no escape. There is no escape. I'm doomed. And so I went down, I got halfway down the stairs. I said to my mate Dean, I said, what are you doing? I said, you're supposed to open the door and catch the bag. He said, yeah, but the headmaster was coming with the book, so I held the door open for him to let him out. I said, well, didn't you think this was going to kind of not only fuck up the plan, but maybe my life? Anyway, the headmaster called me, called my mum in. I got suspended for a couple of weeks. He was under the assumption I'd done it on purpose to mock him and to hurt him, which is crazy. The mocking bit, perhaps, but to hurt him, please. I'm not a violent person. I don't do shit like that. And it was a genuine, honest mistake. But the consequences were... At the time, it felt quite dire. I mean, I wasn't allowed to go to school for 2 weeks. Which on one hand, hey! But on the other hand, I had to be at home for 2 weeks with an angry mum who was pissed off at me for getting suspended. She wouldn't allow me to have my TV, my PlayStation, my phone, nothing. I was grounded. So it was slightly like being in prison for 2 weeks. It wasn't very nice. Anyway, I eventually got back to school and got my round of applause. So all's well that ends well. Did you see Trump introducing the CEO of Pfizer? Everyone's favorite devil, right? The fucking jabmeister himself. Trump is so lost at the moment. He doesn't know. I mean, he's got his finger in so many pies. He loses the narrative of why people do and don't support him. He welcomed. He said, "The CEO of Pfizer is here. One of the great guys. One of the great businessmen. Okay, we want to say thank you in a huge way." And because I'm sure the Pfizer guy has endorsed, giving him loads of money to promote the vaccines. So, anyone that gives Trump a load of money, Elon Musk, etc. Great guy. We love that guy, right? And so he's doing his Trump thing. And the crowd, his crowd, all start going, "Woo, boo, because the Pfizer vaccine has not only injured so many people, it's killed more than enough. And you know, there was the whole time when they were talking about mandating it, despite the side effects, etc. It was a horrible time. You remember the COVID times, right? Not good times. By the way, I saw. You still see the Asian people sometimes walking around in a face mask. I think they've been doing that in China for a lot of years anyway. So that's not. I don't know, it's not too strange, is it? But every now and again, I see a white guy, never a black guy or woman, but every now and again, I see a middle-aged, middle-class white woman, usually a woman, sometimes a guy, walking around with a face mask in 2025. And when I say face mask, what other kind of mask is there? A chest mask, an arse mask, a dick mask? No, they are those things that they wear are surgical masks. But they have to change the terminology to make it more palatable to the useful idiots of the world. If they said, from now on, you all have to wear surgical masks, people kind of would have scratched their head and realized the silliness, the futility, the stupidity of it all. But because they changed the name to face masks, the idiot brain goes, face, mask, oh, mask. That's what you put on your face, right? Oh, this is all normal. And so they just went along with it. Like when they rolled out the vaccines. Oh, they just were rolling them out. Makes it sound like they just let them go at the top of a hill and they just rolled. Oh, it's just nature doing its thing, just roll it along. No! You were mandated. You were told you might lose your job if you didn't take it. Certain people I know were offered money by their employers to take it. There was all sorts of carrots and sticks to get people to take this poison. Yet they were just rolled out. Give me a break. Yeah. We think in words. The establishment know this. The governments know this. The corporations know this. The media know this. So they will use and twist words at every given opportunity to carrot and stick you into the agenda they want you to fall into. Always think about the wording. Terrorists. Who's a terrorist? Whose philosophy is terror? I know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to cause terror. Yeah, there are sadists in the world. Psychopathic murderous sadists, very few and far between. But a whole religion, a whole ideology, a whole culture of terrorists? No. It's a... Beware the words, ladies and gentlemen. Beware the words. Oh, and by the way, you may have noticed I look a little different today than on the previous live streams. It's because I've had a haircut. I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, I've had my haircut. I'm feeling pretty swift, pretty suave. I'm feeling full of life, actually. I'm in a great mood today. But yeah, I've let the beard out a little. Had a little haircut, so it is what it is. Right, I'm going to have a smoke and then probably cook one of my steaks. So just thought I'd plop in and say hello. So I've plopped in. Hello. And we'll call it a day. Right. Look after yourselves, you bastards. You know I love you. Take care. And just watch the words, all right? Be careful. Do 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 do.